What's up? This is Sasha, and I'm very excited about this podcast we've just recorded. It's coming up for you now. In this podcast, we're going to talk about an amazing experience this gentleman, Phillip, had. Why don't you tell him what's in the podcast?
Yeah, pretty much it's going to be about my journey towards self-development, how I opened my heart through a decade of closed-off depression, PTSD, and how I overcame that through the use of meditation, consciousness, self-development, and with the use of psychedelic drugs to awaken myself to who I really am. And that's what it's about.
And curing your cancer with
Yeah,
that shit.
exactly.
After being on the deathbed!
Yeah.
And also, I go through my own journey recently, and very similar to, I also had a closed heart to a degree, and just a bunch of realizations I had that allowed me to have a really life-changing experience and just dealing with a whole bunch of pain I've been holding in. So it's pretty intense, it's illuminating, so enjoy. All right, so it seems that the more you sort of get closer and closer to discovering your own truth, closer to sort of really getting to who you really are at the core. You know, the more you get through all the shit and past the BS, your own BS, the BS of the world, all this crap, you just get closer and closer and closer to reality, to really figuring out what's what. You seem to meet other people who are on the same path. That just keeps happening, you know? Like, the closer you are, the more you awaken, the more you meet other people on the path. It's really fucking cool. And, yeah, it's almost like magic, you know? If you're, it's almost like everybody gets exactly what's coming to them. If you're just completely unconscious, you're just wasting your life, you're doing stupid shit, you're just going to keep running into those people. And if you get into, like, real self-improvement, real self-development, and you're really conscious in your growth, you just keep running into more of those people. And so I feel really, really lucky to be, you know, to be on this path, to be running into really amazing people. And I'm sitting with 3 of them right now. And I'm not just saying that because, you know, I want to get a hand job from you guys later. Although I'm not excluding the hand job possibility. I'm just saying that's not the reason I'm saying. So I'm actually torn between going right into talking to Phillip and talking about the shit that happened to me. But they're both fucking very interesting. And I haven't officially actually talked about what happened to me. So what do you think?
Talk about your story first.
You think share my story and then dig into your fucking
Yeah,
story?
yeah, next. Yeah.
That makes sense. But I'm just so curious about yours. I just want to ask him. Okay. So here's what happened to me. I'll just do a really just simple, straightforward version of what happened. Essentially, it felt like I was just living in sort of a daze for a while. Even though I love, you know, what I do and I love helping people and everything's awesome. There was just something sort of sitting there just kind of blocking me for a while now. And it just wasn't loving fully. I could just feel like I just knew my heart was blocked. I just couldn't really love. I couldn't really feel love. And it was fucked up. And when you're in that place, it's like you can live your life, but if your heart is closed, it's like how much can you really enjoy anything? It's like you're like sort of like a zombie. You're like The Walking Dead. It's really fucked up. And I knew it had something to do with you know, an ex-girlfriend of mine who at the time I was just absolutely crazy about. And you know, this is back in 2011. It just, you know, sometimes you just meet someone, you just have this really epic connection where it's just like the sex is crazy and the connection is really crazy and it just feels right. You know, it just feels right and you're just like, fuck yeah. And so I had that, and I just had to make this epic decision of like, okay, am I gonna stay with this girl and, you know, really be serious about this thing, or do I go on this epic POA adventure? And this is right before I was gonna go and do the Euro tour with James Marshall and, like, you know, do this other program and travel around the world, and things were just taking off. And it's like, and I really felt this is my purpose, helping guys and going out and teaching this stuff and teaching guys how to keep it real and be authentic and be fun and connect with women. And so it was really brutal, and it was one of those choices in life where I knew no matter what I picked, I'm always going to regret. I'm always going to think about the other one and be like, fuck, no matter what. I knew it's like it's a no-win situation. It's like, fuck. And so, of course, I picked what I felt was my life purpose, and I left the girl, and, you know, it was really, really brutal. And I won't get into the details of what happened after, but basically, suffice to say, you know, that was the end of that relationship. And I suffered greatly. For about a year and a half, I was madly in love with this girl and just suffering, just brutally, just being completely crazy with somebody and not being with them, not being, you know, just, it's brutal. I don't know if you guys have had similar, but it's not fun. Yeah. It's not fun. It's shitty. And so And so it's at one point right after that, I did one ayahuasca ceremony, and it felt like I was trapped, like everyone is having their trip, and it's just like it's almost like there's a portal and I can't walk through it. I was just stuck, and I was just stuck in this pain, and I just couldn't open up. And even the shaman was just like, dude, your heart is fucking closed. And I was like, I know, it's because of this girl. I just knew it, but I didn't know how to let go or what to do with it. I was just stuck in it. So years went on, and life goes on. But it wasn't really properly dealt with, There was no real closure. It was just kind of like, okay, yeah, I guess that's finished now, and I'll go on with my life and whatever. So time moves forward, and I started dating my wife Isabel about 3 years ago, and it was great. We get along really well, and we were having an amazing time traveling the world together and everything. But she knew that she could just feel that I wasn't 100%. Like, I just wasn't giving 100%. That she just knew I wasn't fully loving her like I should, and I couldn't receive love from her, and that was really, it was really holding me back. It was really like it's almost like a dampening field around your own joy. It's just like you can't just live life fully. You can't just enjoy. There's something missing all the time, and I had a bunch of sort of little realizations in the last few weeks, and then taking MDMA, and then everything just kind of blew up, and I just realized what was going on, and my heart opened up, and it was this massive fucking it's like my life changed drastically just in boom 24 hours. It's just really fucking insane. And so I'll share like a couple of the mini realizations, and then the big one, and then that's it. And I'm just gonna move on to this amazing story that I just can't wait to hear from Phillip, which is gonna be really epic. So if you're thinking these guys are a bunch of boring faggots, well, keep listening, and then you can decide at the end. So I was staying at a friend's house in London, and I was on the bed, and I was just thinking about stand-up comedy and how much I used to love stand-up and doing stand-up, and how that was like my passion, completely without like all my 20s. I just did stand-up. It was fucking amazing, all over the world with some great comedians. It was just a really, really amazing time, and I was hesitant to get back into stand-up, even though like I love it, and I've been writing new jokes and stuff like that. But every time I thought about stand-up now, I was like, oh, I don't know if I should do it, because maybe it was at my prime then, and maybe I won't be as funny now, and maybe I don't know, it'd be really hard because I'm older, and I always felt like, oh, I should be a famous comedian because I'm really good at it, and blah blah blah. And so, am I ever going to reach my potential? Maybe I won't make it. Maybe I'll be upset if I don't make it. And it was all these thoughts, comparing myself to like other comedians who started after me, who actually I don't think are as talented as talented as I am, not as funny. And so all these thoughts, this guy's on TV. I remember I met Russell Brand in 2003 when he was doing a little puppet show outside for some TV station, and that people wouldn't even stop. Like nobody would even stop to get involved with him. And I came up to him and interacted with him. And I was like, oh, cool. This guy, I actually thought this guy, he could make it one day. He's got something. 2003, like no one ever heard of this guy. Actually, I think it was like 2002. And then look at him now. He's fucking ridiculous. He started comedy after me. So did a lot of people. So all these kind of thoughts that aren't helpful, and so that was holding me from doing comedy. And I was just there, and I just thought to myself, just thinking about, because I was thinking about moving back to London with Isabel and stuff, and getting a little place and stuff, and it would be really fun. And I had this thought. I was like, I'd like to just start my own little venue, little gig. Just do it once a month. Tell all my friends and friends of friends, everybody, if they want to come, just to come down. I'm going to do all my new jokes and just try all this stuff out. I would do it just for fun, without anything. I just think it would be really fun to do because I want to try out my new stuff I've been writing. And for the first time in years, I actually had a feeling of excitement about comedy. I really felt like, fuck, that would be really fun. That would be amazing to do that. What a great time that would be. And I realized in that moment when I was excited about it, I thought, wait a minute, that's the first time I was really excited about doing stand-up in years. And I realized the reason for that was because for a moment I actually stopped thinking and worrying and comparing about the stand-up and what I just came at it from a completely different place of like, wait a minute, I want to do it just because I love it. Which is exactly the reason I started doing it. When I started doing it, I wasn't thinking about money or fame or comparing myself to other people. Like, fuck, I love comedy. I want to go do comedy. That was it. That was the only thing I wanted to do because I loved it. That was my motivating factor. And so I had this thought of like, wait a minute, I just realized if I just come at it from that place, which is the only place that matters, everything else would work itself out. Everything that's supposed to happen would happen. I would love doing it. I would love the process of it. And of course, if I started doing amazing and growing as a comic, word would spread, and ultimately somebody's going to come discover me, and who knows what could happen. Whatever's supposed to happen will happen. So that was like one sort of liberating thought. And I thought, okay, yeah, I shouldn't have been comparing. This bullshit, right?
Passion versus ego.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking ego is bullshit. So I had that, and a few days later, I remember sitting. I was just in the kitchen. I was doing my little nettle nose flush. I'm there, and I just had this thought. My thought was, I just thought everything is bullshit. All this stuff of me thinking, putting all these labels on myself, like I'm funny or I'm successful or I'm good or bad or anything, comparing myself to anybody else in any way. I just thought all these thoughts are fucking bullshit. Everything I think about myself doesn't exist. It's all just a manifestation. I'm just making it all up. And I just thought, you know what? Truth is, I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude, right? I'm just like a dude like any other fucking dude. Okay, maybe I'm different in my own way or whatever, but I'm just another fucking dude. Like, 1,000 years from now, I won't be here, and there'll just be other dudes just like me, just other fucking dudes. And I thought, that's the way I should be really thinking about it when I meet people and interact with people. Drop all of the shit. Drop all the pretending to be anything, even trying to be Sasha Daygame or good with women or funny. Fuck all that shit. All the labels, they're all fucking not useful. I'm just a fucking dude. And some shift happened with me, and I just thought, fuck, that would be a really interesting experiment to do for a week. Just walk around and meet people. Don't tell them anything about you or how great you are or how shitty you are. Nothing. Don't toot your own. Fuck, drop the ego completely and just be a dude. Just, hey, I'm a dude.
Just be.
What a thought. What a revolutionary thought. What a simple thought, but what a profound thought. And it's something shifted with me, and I just knew right away, just by having the thought, that I had become a slightly happier, just a different, just in that acceptance of, hey, I'm just a fucking dude, fuck everything else. Something shifted. I could just feel a shift. And there was some other little things like that, and I started meditating about 6 weeks ago. My friend John Matrix is another dating coach and a good dude. He does, he's had a lot of experience with substances and stuff. I don't know how much he wants me to talk about on a public thing, but let's just say he's experienced with stuff, and he's very experienced in meditation. He's been meditating for a long time, every day. Really, he's into it, and he's the one actually that got me started. He was just like, dude, trust me, just trust me. Get fucking Headspace, pay the fucking, pay the money. It's like a few dollars. Just fucking do it. Do it every day. Trust me, it's gonna work for you. And it's one of those things I know I need brutally. It's like we run from the things we need the most. It's so ridiculous. My brain is fucking so bad. I'm all over the place. I'm so creative, and my brain is, I have a good brain. I'm very smart, but I never stop thinking. I never stop analyzing, thinking about thoughts, the future, the past. What could I have done? What can I do? Never ends. It's literally never ending. It's like living hell. And it's been running me forever. Literally, my whole life, my brain's been running the show. It's fucking unbelievable. And Isabel, same thing. Super intelligent, always thinking. And in her case, both of us, we had a really fucked up childhood. So she, with her, she's had a lot of pain from her past and shit from her parents and depression, all this really fucked up shit she's dealt with. And some of that stuff would come and haunt her. Would really fuck with her. And she's part of the story, which I'm coming to. So for me, we started meditating, and it was fucking hell. It's literally just sitting there suffering for 10, 15, 20 minutes, just suffering. Just your brain goes off, and you're like, fuck, I shouldn't be doing that, and coming back here. Okay, and your brain's just sitting there thinking, oh, fuck, I've just been gone for 5 minutes now, just thinking about stupid shit that doesn't even matter. And then I come back here, and the fun, we both joke around with, like, the only time we actually are able to meditate when the guy in Headspace comes on and says, okay, now just think about whatever you want to. Then you go, well, what would I be thinking about? There's nothing to think about. When he gives you the permission to think about whatever you want, then I'm like, no, now I can meditate. Now that you've told me I can stop meditating, now I can do it. It's fucking ridiculous. We're both saying the same thing. Anyway, so what happened when I started meditating was I just noticed that I've still to this day never had that big breakthrough where I'm sitting there and I'm at peace and I'm like, oh, whoa, not really. But what started to happen was during my day, I'd be doing something that I'm supposed to be enjoying or into or whatever, and some thought would pop up, oh, you're supposed to do that other thing. And I was able to recognize and go, that thought isn't useful right now. I could just not listen to that. That doesn't help me. And go, fuck that. And I'll just focus back on this. And I started just becoming conscious. Just being aware of how brutally my brain was fucking over my enjoyment of everyday life. And just by being aware of it, I was like, no, wait a minute. That's not relevant now. I'm doing this now. I can think about that tomorrow. It doesn't matter. So that started to happen.
This is
which was huge.
Yeah.
I'm still leading up to it, but you can come in and I can continue.
Yeah, I just wanted to like make a note on breakthroughs with meditation is like you expect that the breakthrough is going to feel a certain way, you know, like it's going to feel like an ayahuasca trip or something. But really the breakthroughs don't exist because sometimes you feel amazing when you're meditating, but like that goes away and then sometimes it comes back and goes away, but the real breakthrough is just when you do it. And when you start being aware of your thoughts during the day and doing that, like the breakthrough is just the fact that you do it. There's no other breakthrough besides that.
Yeah, and this you're the guy actually who helped me a lot because I wrote you an email just saying I'm fucking suffering, this is so hard, and you were just like, dude, it's about the process. Meditation isn't about being in some peaceful. It's just about doing it every fucking day. That makes you a meditator. And I was like, all right, fine, you faggot. And that's when I started doing it. Literally, that's when I was like, all right, fuck this guy. I'm gonna do it every day. I did it to make you proud. So we started doing it. It was brutal, and so for me that was cool. And then Isabel, you know, over Christmas, you know, she came to me after Christmas a couple of days. So this is just a month ago. She comes to me. She says, you know something? I noticed something over Christmas. You know, I had these ideas of what it was going to be and how perfect it was going to be. And when we were there, and I realized, my brain started saying, oh, like this isn't exactly how I thought, or this. And then she just said to herself, actually, you know what? These thoughts are irrelevant. Everything's fine as it is. Everything's beautiful as it is. And she consciously was like, yeah, fuck those thoughts. And then she was happy. And I was like, okay, that's different. That was the first time of her being conscious of her thoughts. And then she had another similar thing that she said to me as well about just being aware of certain thoughts and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then last week, so I guess it's deviating from the story, but last week she had a really big breakthrough just like a week ago where, you know, she was meditating and she just sort of had like she just saw this like bright light sort of in front of her face when she was meditating and everything. And she opened her eyes thinking there was some sort of light, but there wasn't. She closed it, it was just there. She just felt like everything was just okay. And then as she was counting breaths, you know, some thought would pop up and she was just like, I don't need to think about it. I'm just going to keep counting. And she was able to, for several minutes, just be breathing and just be calm. And she just had this feeling sink in of just, okay, everything's just fine. And then afterwards, she was really ecstatic, and you know, she did it. And then she even had a little happy cry. So that was beautiful. So that was it. So I'm joking around calling her Zen Master Pig because she's now better than me. She's better than me, and she was kicking and screaming against it. So anyway, so the meditation was part of it, and I was having certain thoughts and realizations. Then I did the fucking big dose of that was actually even a big dose. We did a bunch of sort of weaker bits, but they added up. So we went to a club and then we took some MDMA, and I just had this really profound realization very quickly. Literally, just got high. It was, I'm fine high, and then I just felt something show. Just, you know, it just makes you happy. It releases the serotonin in your brain, just puts you in a love state, and in that love state, I immediately just, literally within 2 minutes, I just stood there, we're dancing, and just working it out in my head, and I just looked at her and I went, okay, I'm fixed now. And she was like, what? I'm like, nah, I got it. Everything's gonna be fine. She's like, what the? She's like, I'm like, I can tell you later. We can just dance, but everything's fine. She's like, no, let's stop now. And so, we went over to the side. And I basically explained to her that I just realized what the fuck was up. And all that was up was my heart was blocked because it was too painful. If I opened it, I would be feeling the pain from my ex-girlfriend. It was just too brutal and I couldn't deal with it. So I locked it up. At the same time, if I opened it and loved Isabel fully, that would almost be like a betrayal because now, I'm not loving this other girl. And it felt so real, like the other girl was my life partner. That how can I betray her and love this girl? So literally, rather than feel any pain, I just went, and there's just nothing there, And I realized, of course, in that moment that that's fucking ridiculous. And there's actually, I realized that my connection with Isabel was so unique and special and wonderful that it could never exist between two other people. We're so, it's such a strong, unique connection. It could never be replicated by any other two people at all. So it's ridiculous that would be affected by anybody else. Just like the connection I have with my ex-girlfriend is also completely unique and very, very different connection. Completely different. And even though, I'm not in love with her anymore, in my own way, I love her too. And that's fine because it's completely separate and not a threat to Isabel whatsoever. And I realized, of course, that there is no limit. And everything some things I read and a bunch of stuff I read by Osho, suddenly it all just made sense. And I just realized there is no limit to love. It's artificial. It's bullshit. Well, you can love everybody. You can love millions of people. There's no limit to love. It's insane. It's like if I'm friends with Joe over here and I love Joe and Joe's my buddy and Dan comes along, was like, oh, sorry, Dan, bro. I don't have any love for you, dude. I've already got this buddy here that I love. So sorry, bro. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like you can love, like why is it I can love dozens of friends? I could be like they're my buddies. I can love them. But if I love one woman, that's it. Can't love another woman, bro. What the fuck is that? It doesn't make any sense. It's insane. Where does this come from? It's this bullshit. It's shitty, stupid, retarded, fucking jealousy-based, needy programming. It's fucking bullshit. And so on the MDMA, I just realized I can love everyone. There's completely no limit. And I did. In that moment, my heart opened up, and I just literally, it was really fucking intense. And I told her, finally, I said, you know what? Of course I love you. I always loved you. I've just been so, I just couldn't open up to it because I was in pain. And I said, I love you, and our connection is so unique and special, and I'll always love you. And you never have to worry about me abandoning you. I would never do that. We're just too close for that. So no matter what happens, you never have to worry about anything, and you're stuck with me. That's what it is. And for her, that was exactly what she needed to hear. She was just feeling like there's this block, like we're not really fully So that was just an amazing moment, and we cried, and we were super happy, and we went home, and we were just crying and holding each other, and it was beautiful. And then for several days after that, I was in a completely different state. It's like a couple days later, we're flying on a plane, and I'm literally I decided to write what happened to my ex, and I'm writing it, and I'm crying, and I was so I just had so much. It was such a shift. There was just so much joy. It's like I had all this joy built up in me that was stuck, and suddenly I could literally feel like this joy feeling moving up my spine. It was like my spine felt happy. It's hard to even explain. It was like my spine felt happy, especially at the top where my spine meets my head, my neck. Yeah. It was just this happiness sitting there that almost I didn't even know how to control, what to do with it. I was just like, what the fuck? I was just so happy, and I was able to finally deal with emotions. And the night we did the MDMA, I was able to talk to her about some death I had in my family, and the death of my mother specifically, and how it affected me, and just share a bunch of stuff, and I was actually able to weep, like really fucking cry, and it was such a cathartic, such a healing experience just to be able to let it out. It was unbelievable, and so for several days I was just in an altered state, just all about love, and all I was thinking about is like making videos, telling people that like all there is love, and all we have to do is pass that along. That's the only thing that matters. And also writing that letter to my ex, I realized I've already known my purpose for a long time, which was just to raise the frequency and help people sort of wake up to the truth, and just basically transform the planet through consciousness. But in that moment, I was very, very clear that actually, specifically, I'm here to let people know that love is the way forward. That's all that matters is love, spreading that frequency. That's all. That's literally why I'm here. It's the only reason I'm here. That's what I'm going to be doing and spreading until the day I die. That's the only reason I'm on the planet. It was very, very clear. And suddenly I just had so many ideas and the videos that are going to be coming up from now on are going to be very different. It's just going to be everything, and now it's coming from the perspective of it's just all about love. There's nothing else that matters. Yeah. So yeah, it was just fucking insane. So go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a really similar experience with MDMA with my current girlfriend, and I realized I pretty much had the same block you did. Like I guess I never really felt what true love was. And for me, it was more so if I break down that wall and let her in, she could really hurt me. She could walk away and this would work out, and that would actually really hurt. And before I put the wall aside, that wasn't a possibility. But to really let someone in, it felt really good. Like, just as bad as she could hurt you, it feels even better to let them in, like really connect on that level. And it felt really good.
So here's where it gets a little bit deeper and just more like, holy fuck. So that's all wonderful for me and everything. However, the woman that's in there, Isabel, my sweet, sweet pig. So she had a lot of pain in her childhood, very similar to me, abusive parents, no real love, like really fucked up, and so she actually had depression since she was a kid. She was very, very angry. When I met her, even she was just she had a lot of anger inside of her. So she struggled from MS, multiple sclerosis, when she was in her 20s. At one point, she had an attack so severe, like she actually had to relearn how to walk. So it's basically when the immune system attacks the body. It's really serious, and they tell you that there's no cure. Basically, they say that. So I didn't really believe that shit, and I found out that there's Brazilian doctors using vitamin D, mega doses of vitamin D to cure it, and that's available on YouTube if anyone looks.
And she did that.
Yeah, we got rid of her MS doing that. We totally got rid of it.
Holy
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it's gone. It went into complete remission. Yeah, I put her on 30,000 rather than the 50 because she's so tiny, so it went away. But she'd have little pain, like very minor stuff, and then we upped it to 50, and it went away. So that's one thing that's interesting. But also, she would keep getting. This is the other part of the story. So she would keep getting like 3 years ago, they put her on antidepressants, one a really bad one called Effexor, which is super addictive. It's like, and I've talked about it before, like what antidepressants actually do. But suffice to say, they are extremely addictive and they're very hard to get off because what they do is the serotonin receptor. Basically, there's a serotonin receptor, there's a serotonin molecule that fits inside of it, and of course, it delivers serotonin, and you feel happy. But the problem is when you use a reuptake inhibitor, serotonin, that's what it is, a serotonin reuptake inhibitor, it stops the serotonin from going back into your system, and it forces it to stay in the receptor. So what happens then? Sure, you feel happier, but the receptor gets too sensitive because the serotonin isn't supposed to be in the receptor that long, and it starts shrinking away. Serotonin receptors start shrinking away. So if you ever go back off the drugs and you have your normal amount of serotonin, well, now it's not being able to, can't connect with the receptor because the receptor shrunk away. So of course you're going to be fucking depressed. So you're stuck on that shit forever. Basically, you can't get off it, and it takes many years for the brain to regenerate that receptor. So and they know this. It's not like they don't know this. They know this. They know what it does. So it's extremely addictive. So when we were in San, this is the other part of the crazy story. We were in Ecuador, and I had an amazing San Pedro experience, which I've spoken about in another podcast. And I wanted her to do it because I thought it could help her. And I found out that you can actually die if you're on those drugs and you do the San Pedro. And I sort of went within and I just felt it out. And my instincts were like, go cold turkey off the antidepressants. Just stop taking that shit for a few weeks. Do the San Pedro. It's going to help her. And then from there on, just do your best. Take it one day at a time. And worst case scenario, if you absolutely must, you can put her back on the pills. But get off the fucking meds and do the San Pedro because it's going to help. And I'm like, okay. And she trusted my instincts. And I asked her and she's like, yeah, let's do that. So we did it. And that in itself was very interesting because, she was able to finally, for the first time, I would be touched. She's so tense. Her body was like a rock. And whenever I would touch her before this experience, she wasn't even aware of the pain in her body. She had no idea. And I'd be like, you have a rock here. And finally she started to go, oh yeah, that does hurt a little bit. When we did the San Pedro, she was actually able to connect with the pain in her body and go, oh, okay, yeah, that's really fucking tight. And I'm like, yeah, see that? He's like, yeah, that's really brutal. And I was getting her to just breathe it out and just sort of relax. It was really painful, but for the first time, she was able to connect with her body, with the tremendous amount of pain and anger that was in her body. It was very interesting. And actually, at one point, I would hold my hand over her belly, and I actually felt, I just felt this shitty pain feeling like in my belly. It was really like, oh my God. And I was just like, okay, you got to breathe that out. That's your pain. Get rid of it. You don't need that shit. I'm just getting rid of it. Just instinctual. I was like, visualize it. It's black and just take it out of let it come out of your mouth. You don't need to hold on to it anymore. We were just doing this for hours, just touching her body and getting her to relax muscles. So it was really fucking insane. Anyway, so she didn't get like the oneness amazing experience, but it was useful for her. She needed to do it. I believe it was what she needed. Anyway, so after we went off the meds, we kept the meds off the meds. That was about 9 months ago. And so she'd be happy because we're relatively happy in life, even though I wasn't loving her fully. And she would sometimes have these brutal relapses of depression where she'd literally go from everything's fine to like, boom, wakes up one day fucking suicidal. Like literally, absolutely brutal, horrible. So she'd be really brutal for a day, and maybe 1 or 2 days after feeling shitty, and then she'd go back to normal. And for me, this was a really great learning, just being present and just loving, just being accepting. And, she's like, oh, what I'm afraid, what if you're going to leave me or whatever? And I'm just like, no, I don't give, be depressed. I don't give a shit. Go ahead, cry. You're not going to scare me. My mom was fucking insane, and she just yelled at me all week and kicked the shit out of me. You think you can scare me with your fucking being depressed 1 day out of 3 weeks? I don't give a fuck. So I was just very present, and that was a learning in itself, just being love, no matter what. Like, you want to go through hell, go ahead. I still love you. I don't give a fuck. It was very, very amazing learning for me, challenging, just to see somebody like that swing that way. It's really insane. Now, here's where it gets really juicy. This is happening. And we're trying to eat well. We got her on lithium orotate, which is a really amazing substance people can research. Very healthy for you. It regulates the mood and helps a lot of people with depression. It's a naturally occurring substance. And this form of lithium, actually, it's one that can be absorbed by the brain really easily. So normally they use lithium to treat depression, but you'd have to take a really large amount, or it was toxic to the body because you had to take so much to absorb enough to affect you. Orotate's in a new form. We can take very small amounts, and it goes through the blood-brain barrier, and it has amazing effect on the body, and it actually lengthens your lifespan, and it works against toxins, all this crazy stuff, and it's very cheap and effective. Anyway, so that was helping to a degree, but she was still having these swings. And so what happened was when we had our breakthrough on the MDMA, And also, even a few days before that, we had some amazing communication where we were just really talking about what was going on in our relationship, some other stuff. After we had that experience, and she was totally happy on it, and we connected, and I told her I loved her, and my heart opened up, and it was fine. It was such a breakthrough, and she was so happy, and we were both so happy, and realized how much we care about each other, that I felt in my heart, I looked at her that night, and I said, there's no reason for you to ever be depressed again, is there? And she was like, nope. And I was like, all that pain, all that fucking hate, all that shit in you, you can just let it go right now. There just doesn't, it's done, isn't it? It's done. And she looked at me and she's like, yeah. And since that day, that was only, it was 3 weeks ago, she's been fucking happy every single day. And about 3-4 weeks before that, she was also, hadn't had any issues. So it's been almost 2 months now, just every day, she might get the occasional shitty thought or whatever, but she's just happy. I just don't see her ever going back to that shit again. And I really realized that it's not, depression, what they tell you, it's a brain imbalance. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. It's to sell you fucking drugs. It's negative thought patterns. It's old pain. It's you holding shit and hoarding things in the body. And I realize now the ultimate truth, which is her MS was just her depression and hatred and all that anger she was holding up inside herself. It was the body attacking itself, dealing with that anger in some way. And when I came along and showed her the love, along with the vitamin D, we were able to stop the body from doing that, and that's completely gone. And now, with literally just love and acceptance, all the negative shit, and along with her meditating and being able to be conscious of her thoughts, along with just me just loving the fuck out of her and just accepting her, her depression is gone. It's gone. It's destroyed. It doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist anymore. And it wasn't drugs. It wasn't therapy. It was fucking love and consciousness and presence. That's what it was. That cured her fucking ass. I know it's only been maybe 2 months of her being happy, but I just know it's over. We left right before we left a friend's house here. We had about a year's supply of the antidepressants because they're cheaper in India. So I bought like a year's supply for like $30, where here it would be like 1,000. And we're looking at it, and I'm just like, she's just like, yeah, what do we do with these bottles? I'm like, I don't know, let's bury them. Let's do a little ceremony or some shit. And we had a funny idea of what to do with it, a little artistic piece, but we're just like, yeah, we'll just leave it here, and maybe somebody, who knows? I feel almost bad selling it to someone. It's fucking poison. But I'm a Jew, and I'm like, well, I paid for it, maybe I should. But anyway, and we just left it there, and that's it, dude. And it's just that realization of just being conscious and meditation and just love and just being there for somebody and loving them can completely cure like a lifelong depression that was there since she was a child. Mm-hmm. You can cure MS, a serious disease where the body attacks itself that there is no cure for. That shit is gone. That's what's happened in the last couple of years between me and my wife Isabel.
That's amazing.
It's fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah, it's really touching my heart. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's so amazing, and sometimes I can't even believe it happened or that it is happening, but it is. That's what's happening. That's what's just happened. That's and then I laugh at her when she's like, I don't laugh, but it's just like when she's like, oh no, I want to support you. I'm just like, no, but you should find what you love and your purpose. Whatever. She says, no, I just want to be happy and help you, and that's my purpose. I'm like, okay, it's great. I want to make you happy too, but I bet you have some amazing gift for the world, and she doesn't realize what she's just been through, curing that shit. Going through it all, even though there is no cure, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going through all that. Imagine her story, her writing a book. I defeated MS and depression with love and consciousness and meditation. Yeah. Do you imagine how many people could benefit from that story?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
And it's not a one-off thing either. Like in meditation courses, things just change in the body in people. It's not just like you think differently. It's like you can fix physical ailments. You can go off of painkillers. You can cure your body just by sitting down for a while. Mm-hmm. And that's crazy. I still don't even understand how that can happen, but it's crazy.
Because meditation, I did a lot of research with it, and it literally rewires your prefrontal cortex in the front part of your brain. So when I was younger, I had a lot of social anxiety and fear of just being around people. And when I started meditating over years, it rewires like the neurons in your brain, the synapses, they reconnect and they form new patterns, new ways, and literally it's gone. Like I have no anxiety at all. And if you meditate every day, at least 10, 15 minutes, you're golden. It changes your life.
Reset your mental framework.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing it more right before I go to sleep too, because if you are in like a meditative state when you go to sleep, then you're like meditating the whole night through.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Probably get more restful sleep too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got like 2 fucking meditation experts here in the room, so it's pretty interesting. So that's pretty much what's happened to me the last, couple years in the last few weeks, and it's been really intense, and it's been hard. It's been a hard, 8-9 months, but it's been worth it. And I just had faith that she was going to get through it, and instinctually I knew the shit she was going through in depression. I knew it was a bunch of shit she'd had stored up and it hadn't been dealt with, and all the meds do is they cover it up. That's all they do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't deal with the root pain, the cause. They don't deal with it. They just pump more. Okay, they make your brain have more serotonin. Oh, so you feel happier. And when you feel happier, you're less likely to pay attention to some negative thought. Oh, I feel pretty happy. But as soon as you take that away, well, that shit, the doubt, the self-doubt, the hate, the anger, all the fucked up shit, it just comes back in your face. Right? And you have to deal with that eventually. You have to deal with it. You have to get through it somehow, whether it be meditation, counseling, breathing exercises. There's so many methods out there to deal with pain and fuck them deal with. There's so much shit out there. But if you don't deal with it, and this is what our society does, and it's so corrupt and it's so disgusting, they sell you pills. They sell you pills, and they know you'll be addicted to for the rest of your life, and that's what it is.
Mask the pain, don't figure it out, and get rid of it.
Yeah, and that's the medical. And we're gonna talk to Phillip now about his story, and we're gonna get a lot darker.
Yeah.
Shit's gonna get a lot more real in this podcast. So let's move this forward. So that's my shit. I'm doing this this course here. Just finished day 1 in Miami. And so I'm doing it with John Keegan. So, I had a bunch of guys that contacted me. I said, yeah, we'll do the course with my friend John. And, of course, John said to some guys he wanted to work with, yeah, we'll do this course with Sasha. You should come along and we'll all do it together. It's beautiful. So Phillip was one of John's guys. So I'd never actually met him before today.
Yeah.
The first time.
Yeah.
It seems like I know you longer, though, right?
Dude, we have a good connection already. Like,
Yeah.
All 4 of us. Like,
It's really weird.
incredible.
It's like I met him today. It's
Yeah.
fucking strange.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I just was talking to him earlier, and he was just saying some really amazing stuff where I was like, holy fuck, we need to have a proper conversation. And every time we started talking, I was like, dude, we need to just shut the fuck up and talk about this on the podcast. It's going to be fucking epic.
Yeah.
And we were all tired after the first day, and we're going to do it tomorrow. And I was like, you know what, we're already talking about this stuff. Fuck it, I'm going to get the last. Let's just do this thing. So yeah, man, I'm not going to, let's just tell us your fucking story, dude. I want to, tell the world
Yeah, definitely.
what you've been fucking through. Because
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's really amazing.
I'm going to start when I was younger, about in 5th grade. I had a really traumatic experience. My dad was painting our tiles on the ceiling with an 18-foot ladder, and the ladder collapsed and he hit his head, and there's blood everywhere and everything. And as a kid, I witnessed that, and I saw like my mom screaming on his, like trying to give him CPR, and I have to go call 911. I have to go across the street to my neighbors, get them help. So at a young age, I was in a state of fight or flight for a 5th grade kid. And over time, that created so much anxiety, it created so much stress. Pretty much, I had PTSD for the majority of my life. I had PTSD, major depression. Growing up in high school, even college, I was a loner. I did not know how to connect. I did not know how to talk to people. And if I tried to talk, I was very, very timid and shy. I could not look people in the eyes without turning red and looking down. So eventually I started to really come to this realization of, am I going to do this the rest of my life? Am I going to go down this path of negativity and depression? So I really started to think, and it was around when I was 19, 20, I started to pick up pool billiards, and it became my passion. It became something I can get away from all the stress I was dealing with every single day. And I would just go to the pool hall. Literally, I would shoot pool for 5 to 7 hours a day, and I became so good I went to Vegas when I was 20, and I competed in a major tournament, and that made me feel amazing because I was doing something I loved. But whenever I wasn't playing pool, I would go home and I would just be really sad, depressed, and the cycle continued on for a while until one day when I was 21, I was playing in the pool hall, and this stunning, like gorgeous woman came up to me. She approached me. She started talking. Basically, she picked me up. She got to know me. She was my first girlfriend ever, and we dated for about 2 months, let's say. and she had the similar traits as me, because like attracts like. Who you are, you're gonna get that same energy. So she also was depressed. She also had PTSD. When she was younger, she was raped and molested, and we have similar stories. So we dated, like I said, for 2 months, but then after a time I became really needy, and I would do anything for her. I put her on the pedestal so much, and then eventually she recognized a pattern, and she left me, and then that just crushed my heart. Like, something internally happened to where, like Sasha said, I completely closed off my heart chakra, and everything that I knew was love, that I thought I could love again because a woman came into my life, that closed immediately. And I went down the cycle again of depression after she broke up with me, and I started to have to find some way to fill the void, not just with a pool hall, because every time I would play pool at the pool hall, I would think of her, and I would just get depressed. So I had to form some other outlet, and I became really into fitness. It became my lifestyle for a good 3-4 years, and I would work out literally every single day. My body just transformed significantly, because I wanted to create an external physique that people can say, oh wow, he's so confident, look how amazing he looks. But on the internal, I was still I was a little sad little kid, because I didn't love myself, but I put on this facade externally that people can look up to that physique. But like I said, internally I still didn't love myself. And something incredible happened, like life-changing happened to me last year. It was 2 weeks before my first national physique competition. I was going to step on stage and place in a show, and everyone was telling me, like, you have literally the perfect physique, and I can show you all later pictures of what I looked like, my transformation. And I still had everything bottled up inside, all that depression and rage. And even when I was at the gym, I put on this like really like cocky bad boy energy, but I still didn't love who I was. And eventually there was something started happening. There was this growth that started happening on the side of my neck during that time, and it grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And 2 weeks before my show, I went to the doctor, and they scanned it, and they said, you have stage 3 melanoma. We need to do surgery tomorrow to remove that. And my world was completely like mind fucked, because here I was putting my passion into something I loved so much, and then they said, we have surgery tomorrow. So what they did is they took out my left pectoral muscle. They took the majority out, because there was this huge tumor on the side of my neck. It looked like a spider bit me, and it was just humongous. And they took out the pectoral muscle, and they flipped it, and they took out most of my neck muscle. So they replaced it with the pectoral muscle. So my left pec is on my left side of my neck. So when I flex, I can feel my pec flexing. And what happened is I was in the hospital for a week, and I was like, well, what the fuck do I do with my life now? It's something I love doing, and now it's not there anymore. My physique was gone, like my passion. What the hell do I do? And I became even more like in a depressed state. I became very, very, very suicidal last year. And when I got out of the hospital, I was just going through this cycle of, what do I do? What do I do? How do I change? And I started getting into meditation, because I wanted to change my mindsets, because I kept thinking negative patterns every single day. And I started with meditation. After the surgery and everything with stage 3, immediately after, my friend, he helped me out, and he gave me my first psychedelic, which was psilocybin mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms. And that was an awakening moment right there, where I realized something else was hidden underneath. I just felt this immense amount of love and joy, but it lasted briefly. It lasted about 4 to 5 hours, depending if you do the tea or if you just eat it orally. But then after that, let's say a week later, I'd go back to the same thought patterns. And 3 weeks later, the doctor called, and he and he said after we did more scans after the stage 3, and he said that it now moved on to stage 4, and that's when it goes down below your neck and travels all over your body. So the crazy thing is, when I was working out tremendously, I couldn't express myself, and it's not a coincidence that the cancer happened in my throat chakra right here, because I could not speak my mind to the world. I could not say what I wanted to say. It's not a coincidence at all. Like, cancer starts with the mindsets, and if it turns into a belief, the belief will manifest internally, and it came out the expression of my throat, of my neck. So when I was going through the stage 4 process, I was getting sicker and sicker, but before I did another psychedelic, dimethyltryptamine, DMT. It's released from the pineal gland every night when you sleep, when you dream, and when you die, you release all of it. And one of my friends, he let me experience this beautiful, amazing spiritual drug, and what happened is it takes you so deep within, and you just feel this immense amount of love. And what happened during the trip is I immediately blacked out once I smoked it. Immediately once I hit it, I was out. And I saw these different shapes and these different patterns, and then immediately I had no recollection of what time was, but I heard this distinct voice in my right ear. It was very, very angelic. It sounded honestly like an angel, like a beautiful presence. And once I heard it, my being, every atom and cell of my body began to vibrate at a very, very, very high frequency. And even though I was unconscious, I can feel like there were other presences with me, comforting me, saying, hey, it's all right. What you're going through, this cancer, it'll be all right. It will pass. This too shall pass. This is not forever. And then once I woke up out of that, I was like, what the fuck just happened? Where was I? What happened? And that really helped for a good majority of the time before I got really sick. I got sick around September, and that was the point where I couldn't even move anymore. Like, I was stuck in my bed all day. But that DMT experience showed me, for the most part, how to truly love. But then when I went even further down, the stage 4 process, this was late September, like maybe the second week before October. I couldn't move out of bed. Literally my mom would have to help me out of bed, and she would help me, use the restroom. She would help me go get something to eat, because anything I would eat or drink 30 minutes later, the cancer, what it does is it attacks those nutrients and it eats them up, and it destroys whatever, good energy you have left in your body to survive. And even it will start to attack your body. And what it did is the cancer cells ate away some of my vertebrae, some of like the top, like T1, T2 on the top of my neck, and also on the lower part of my spine. It ate away that, so I can really feel it just crumbling away my body. And I would wake up literally every night, 3 in the morning, in so much excruciating pain, and I was just crying tears like, Mom, why am I going through this? And I would just cry, and it would really just touch, like, my mom, like, she's so empathic, she can feel a lot, and it was a very, 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 very dark time for our whole family. Like, my brother came in one night, and he just started crying, just pouring his tears and saying, I don't want you to die, bro. You've taught me so much about life, and I just want you here. And I told him, whatever happens, I will be here with you, even if I make it or if I don't. Spiritually, I will always be with you, brother, and never forget that. And I just, it was at that point where every night I would watch Sasha's video. It was, I think the video you had, the 5 regrets of the dying. I think you all should check that out. That video sparked something so deep within me. Just the 5 things in life that majority of people in society, they're not able to do because they're so trapped in themselves. And I would watch it every night, and I told myself, I made a promise and a commitment to myself, if I get through this, if I surpass, what I'm going through, if I get over this cancer, I will change my life. I will push my comfort zones. I will push my fears, and I will become the best version of myself I can possibly be. And I will share my message and inspire people to change their life. And I had that mindset every single day. And eventually what happened is I did get on medicine because the doctors recommended, because I was doing it holistically for a while, a lot of, juicing, just healthy foods, but that still didn't work for me. My body didn't react to it. So I did get on medicine, and it helped to a point. I'm still taking it, but in lower doses, and it's pretty much an oral treatment. It's not the actual chemo bags. It's more of a targeted therapy. But I still wanted to get off of it. But it made me be able to walk again, and maybe not be in so much pain anymore. And towards the end of December is when I had a profound life-changing experience. My brother really recommended that we do one more psychedelic, and the psychedelic is what shamans use to really connect to the divine spirit, to the divine presence, and that is San Pedro. And the cactus, when you extract the San Pedro or the mescaline from it, that's what creates the experience. So he brewed it up for me, and then we went to this beautiful place where I live, and we drank it's pretty much like a vile dark green liquid, but we drank all of it, and we walked down to the lake, and it took a while for it to kick in, but when it did, things got very, very, very dark, and I told my brother, why am I feeling like this? And it's because for years and years I closed off my heart because of what happened with my first relationship, my only relationship. How I saw that pain, and same with my father. He grew up, or I grew up with him with that head injury. He made it, but he wasn't able to give me that love and support anymore. Every day I would come home and he would yell verbal abuse. He would throw things. He would say, "Oh, you're no good, fuck you," like every single day when I was growing up. So all that came to the surface during that San Pedro experience. And then I would say 30 minutes into it, things started to change. They started to get a little lighter because I allowed myself to be in that moment of dark pain and depression. Even though it fucking sucked, I accepted it because I knew I wanted to change my life. And after that, I looked out into the lake, and something immediately, like I felt this divine presence, this divine consciousness just spread throughout my entire body. And I looked out into the lake with such passion and such drive for life, because water represents emotion. And this lake was huge. It was huge. I was basically expressing my emotions, pouring them out into the lake, and I was able to really come to terms with who I truly am, not who I thought I was, that depressed PTSD state that I developed for over a decade. I spent a decade of my life in shit, in pain, in darkness. And that immediate realization of, wow, I am nothing but love. I am connected, and everyone around me loves me for who I am, and I am going to love every single person that I meet with such passion and joy. And it was at that moment. It lasted about 12 hours, the trip, but my life changed after that. And I immediately I looked up your boot camps, and I looked up when you were going to do the next boot camp, and because that was also something I was afraid to do. There was one time you had one in Austin, Texas, and I'm from San Antonio, and I was too scared to go to that. I think that was 3-4 years ago, and I said, no, I can't do it. There's no way. I can't talk to women. And I looked online at the end of December, and there was a boot camp, and it was for Miami. So I messaged one of Sasha's good friends, John Keegan, and I was like, hey man, how much does it cost? Because I really connected to his spiritual self, his just being, the way of being, and that really resonated with me because I really just wanted to change my life, and he expressed it that really connected me to that. So I talked to him and we set it up, and now now I'm here, and it was really humbling for me, because I was at one point where I told John, I was like, hey man, I don't think I can do this. Like, I was making up excuses. I had money saved up, but I was thinking, no, I can't do this. This is too much. And then I was really digging deep in my true self, not the mind, but who I was, said, you go. And I'm forever grateful that I had this experience. Like, even day one changed my life, changed my reality, my perceptions about how I see the world. Because before, I could not talk to a stranger. I would not be comfortable saying, hello, how are you? Something so simple we should all do. Hello, how are you? How's your day going? Millions of people cannot do that because they are trapped in their mind. And, this today was a very, very life-changing experience for me, because I faced my fears over a span of all this time, and it feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders, of my whole body, my very being, and I feel so light and free, and I'm able to express myself when, as before, I could not express, even to my mom or to my brother. I could not say years ago, I love you. I could not tell them that, because I closed off my heart from the world. And today was the moment where my heart, I felt something just open up completely, and it's incredible for me, because I'm really in tune to how my body feels. I meditate every single day, and after we did one of the social conditioning exercises, the social freedom, it was the one where we were laying down on the ground and we needed to get 10 high fives from random people before we can get up. And we were in this crowded area, and everyone was staring at us. They thought I was something was wrong with me, like I was on coke or something. But I got through that. I was comfortable with people looking at me, because the San Pedro experience showed me that it does not matter what anyone thinks of you. It only matters, do you love yourself? And I truly love myself. So I got through that experience, and I stood up, and I literally had so much chills running through my body. I felt euphoric and hot, like a natural ecstasy, a high. And I was so present and aware, and I could see just every one of the students and the teachers, what they were sharing together was a beautiful experience. Just a connection about freedom and doing what you want to do, and not caring what others think, and just loving yourself. And that's what I went through today, and I can't wait for tomorrow, and for the next day, and for the next year, to see where my life direction goes. And if there's one thing I can say to all you listeners right now on the podcast, it's if you can change your thoughts, the way you think, you can change your life. Your reality will shift, because if you put out to the universe, this is the reality that I want, the universe will say, okay, continue to be how you want to be, and I will show you. The universe is abundant, and it will give you exactly what you put out. You get what you give. If you're putting out a lot of negativity, and you're closing yourself off from the world, you're not going to get much in life. You will not. But if you're giving, and you're showing humility, if you're laughing, if you're joyful, if you're playful, if you have that childlike self, that's all about loving everyone, then the universe will say, here you go, here's abundance. And I'm excited for the future. And it's just the transformation I've made. It's incredible. And something you said about Isabel writing a book, that's what I need to do. Because once you said that, I had chills all over my body. That's what I know I need to do. Because I write journals, how I'm feeling every day, and I need to write a book. I need to share my story with people, because there's so many people that go through dark depression times, and they don't know how to get out of it. But I feel like if they read a book, really go within themselves, and I could put my passion into every single page, then my goal is to connect on a deep, loving level with someone who's reading that book, and their life will change for the better. And I can't thank you guys enough. for helping me push my boundaries. But it's all about the inner change, the inner transformation, the inner growth. Nothing external will ever replicate who you are within yourself. And that's my story.
I don't know if we should clap or just hold you and
Yeah,
cry.
no,
Yes,
shit.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sasha, you're a great teacher and everything, but I think that's the biggest moment so far of the weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Screw Sasha Daygame. Just come talk to this guy for a little while.
Because I would watch your videos, man, for years, and I was like, I connect with this guy. Like, he's exactly how I should be, playful, a childlike self. That's what it should be, authentic. And the more I watched your videos, the more I said I needed to do a boot camp. But I was too scared at the time. But after last year, I really made the change, and I'm here, and I have zero fucking regrets. It's everything I've ever wanted, everything I ever wanted to experience in life, and this is just the first step of many beautiful, new adventures in my life. Thank you, buddy.
Dude, thank you for being here. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't know you existed till today. Why did you reach out before? I got fucking Twitter, email, I got YouTube
No, I
videos.
messaged you. I was like, hey, man, you've really motivated me. I forgot what video it was, but you said, yeah, man, you can buy me lunch someday.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's incredible.
Email would have been better.
Yeah.
Just like something a little more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can still buy me lunch, by the way. I'll
Yeah.
totally take that. That's epic, and it's just, man. There's just so much profound depth and learning and wisdom out there available for everybody. Really, this journey is available for everybody to go within themselves and discover these truths. But unfortunately, the planet we live on, certainly in the Western world especially, it's really all about suppressing that journey, and keeping people just working in the system, paying taxes, and just unconscious. They want us unconscious. This is why drugs like tobacco and alcohol are illegal, because they just dull you, and you just spend money, and they kill you over time, and they have no chance of leading to spiritual awakening. So, hey, those ones are okay. But anything, that might actually change your Sam. They're banning, you can go to jail for any San Pedro, ayahuasca. These are healing medicines that have been around for thousands of years. They'll put you in jail.
Yeah, DMT.
Marijuana, marijuana, hemp oil cures cancer. Jail, put you in jail.
Mm-hmm.
MDMA, can lead to heart opening experience. Jail. So that really that's very telling which substances are illegal and which ones are illegal. That's really telling right there. That tells you who's running the show and what their intentions are. Right there. That's all you need to understand. Right there.
Exactly. Because all those psychedelics do is open your mind, and it really just shows you the reality of the world and what's really going on. And it just makes you immediately more conscious and in tune with yourself. And the fact that it's banned is incredible to me. It really tears me up sometimes, because this can help so many people. It cures depression. It cures PTSD. It makes you go back to your childlike self when you're running around playing, meeting new kids on the street. That was fun. Now you grow up and you can't do that anymore because you're so lost in your mind. But psychedelics remove all of that, all the limiting beliefs, and it really gets in touch to your heart again. And that's what society's come to, but it's fucked up. It really is.
It is. And it's very dark the way things are, but there's just too many people waking up to this. There are too many people talking about these type of experiences. The internet is just all-encompassing, and I think we're going to see a big change.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing it right now. It's just, it's slow, but it's happening.
Yeah, we were talking about this strange dichotomy where it seems to be kind of the end of times, and at the same time, the climax is kind of happening simultaneously where, ayahuasca coming to the U.S., Vipassana is spreading like crazy. Mm-hmm. People like you spreading this message. People like you spreading this message. So many people are becoming awakened, and
other people are just being shoved even more into the fucking grinder. It's very, and it's something you realize, and especially in certain books, if you read Conversations with God or many, or if you just rely on your own experience, you realize the world, everything is really dualistic. Just like the nature of our existence, just like this life. This life, in one respect, is everything that we have. In another respect, it's completely irrelevant because it's one of like infinite lives that we're going to have forever to the end of time. So just as the planet is getting worse, horrifically worse and more brutal, it's becoming completely enlightened and beautiful at the same time because certain people are awakening and raising the frequency. And then, of course, the people running the show are creating more war, more death, more oppression, So, yeah, but we all know the cure, and it's love.
It is.
It's just love. That's all. That's the only thing that can save us all. So, and that's what we have to pass on, and that's really the message, I guess, to anybody listening to this. It's like, you are love. Deep down, you know that you are all-encompassing, everlasting, unlimited love. That's what you came to the planet as. That's what you've been, and that's what you will be. You just forget sometimes. You forget sometimes because of what's going on around us and the pain and the lack of consciousness. But you are a love, and connect with that and do what you have to do. You need to take substances. If you need to fucking do counseling, if you need to do breathing exercises, Iceman fucking technique, jogging, ninjutsu, reading books, meditation, whatever the fuck you need to do it. Try everything until you reconnect with your fucking heart and you open up and you realize what you are. That is the job of everyone on this planet. You need to realize what you are. You have to. There is no happiness. There's no joy until you realize your true nature.
Absolutely. With what you were saying the other day, I completely agree. I had this really kind of profound thought just sitting with myself, and I thought, like, there's only really two emotions a human being can experience, either love or pain. And I think what happens is we experience pain, and unlike love where it feels good, it hurts, and then it leaves a scar. And the more scars you have, eventually you start to, like, push love away, and all there is pain. And when you start to fill yourself with pain, the only thing you can give is pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have to, like, mend those scars with love. Whenever you feel it, like, just heal yourself as much as you can.
What you said is why we're on the planet we're on, because all the people who have all this pain, right, rather than healing the pain, what do? Well, the only thing they can do is put everyone else, spread that pain, lower the frequency. I'm going to suffer, fuck everybody, and they're just, that's what's happening. And if imagine somebody comes along and cures that person before they're able to, to spread it. If imagine people were so conscious, they would see a child who was in pain at age 6 and suffering, and would go, okay, let's help this kid. Let's fix him now. Let's make him connect with his love now. And by the time he's 8, he's actually like wonderful. Like what's that kid gonna go do with his life now? Imagine somebody had met Hitler, when they realized this kid's having a lot of anger, and he's saying, let's take this kid along and let's show him some love and support, and make him feel loved. Where would the world be today if Hitler just fucking at 20 just decided, he was going to start meditating and he wanted to help the world,
especially with his capabilities as a leader.
Imagine he went the other way. It was like, what? Fucking everyone's. Imagine somebody just gave him some real love when he was needed it. You know what I'm saying? It's just fucking.
Yeah, actually, I saw an interesting study where there's like a certain genome, a certain gene where if it basically creates a polarity in a person where either they will be the most talented, inspiring, loving leader, or they will be like a serial killer psychopath. And it's like, if they're supported in their childhood, then they will go down the first one. And if they're not, they'll go down the second.
That makes sense.
Well, I got away. That was a close call for me, Jack, because I didn't get no love. So I should have been the next Hitler. So I'm glad I. And it's funny because I could have seen myself going that way because I did have so much anger and hatred and really, really tough. And I don't know how I just managed to, go the other direction. But I could have been killing people.
You all have the capability.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been a great dictator, I think. I've got to, I think I would have done well.
What you do for good.
Oh, yeah. I think I would have been a great dictator. Yeah. Oh, well. We'll never know.
Maybe
then again, who knows, right? I'm still young. I can still go the other way. Look at Luke Skywalker, right? He started out good, and he went the other way. Anakin. Sorry, yeah. Okay. There's too many fucking characters in there. But yeah, it's interesting. So, I think we really said what we had to say.
Yeah.
That was it. So here's an idea. If you'd like to do that, Philip, why don't you start a blog for now, so people can you can start posting and you can post up some stuff, start up a little bit of following and stuff. I'll link to your blog in this podcast,
Okay.
and so that everybody who wants can go and find you and read about your stuff. And then when you're ready to do a book or whatever, you'll have people who already know who you are and stuff. So it'll be a good foundation. For you doing your thing.
Yeah, I would love that.
That sounds like a good idea. So you need to go start one right away because I want to get this up ASAP.
course.
This is a message I do feel I want to, because I record some podcasts and they're okay and I'm talking to them, they're interesting. But I've got like 2 or 3 that I haven't put up. Like they're good, I'll get them out at some point. But sometimes you say something that really resonates, that's really important, that can really help a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So this I want this out now.
Yeah.
So let's do this shit.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man.
All right, world. Well, there you go. It's another Sasha Daygame podcast. That was definitely the most emotional one I think we've had. And I love you all you 19 people who listen to this, who listen to this podcast religiously. I know you're out there, and you guys rock. And keep spreading it. If this really helps you, please share this message. Fucking share it with everyone you can if you can help them. And bless you all, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Goodbye.